Hello. Hola. Welcome to a new episode of the Yoga for All Bodies video podcast. As you can see on your screen, today I have an incredible guest, one of my favorite people on Instagram. I love her, Karen James. Is a yoga teacher who specializes in accessible yoga and Yoga Nidra. She's a strong advocate that yoga should be for every body type and leave individuals with feelings of empowerment, trust, relaxation, fun, and awareness of their body-mind connection. Welcome, Karen, to the video podcast.
Thank you so much. And what a lovely introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited you're here today. I love what you're doing. I love what you share on Instagram. It's like joy every single time. So I would like to know, how did yoga came to your life?
I think yoga came into my life, pre-2014, but very, very briefly. It was something that I think I went to once a week and really enjoyed it. And then it fell away. It just fell away. And then in 2014, that's when I started practicing yoga consistently. Definitely nothing like I do now. I think I started with Bikram yoga. I started with that. So I was kind of following that a lot. And I think I started getting to the stage where I was going to yoga maybe 6 or 7 times a week. It was just so full on. I just loved it. I think I started doing a lot of self-work, a lot of self-improvement. And I found that when I stepped onto the mat, it was just as if all the pieces had fallen into place, that everything that I'd done in the past led me to yoga. And I think probably I was doing yoga off the mat. The things that nobody sees, the things that you're working on, the way you're trying to find your peace, your balance, just navigating life. I think that's what I was doing. And then when I stepped on a mat, I just thought, wow, everything just works. Everything just fits together. And that's how my yoga journey started, sort of in 2014, consistently practicing yoga or yoga asanas. So yeah.
And did something in particular invite you to go, today I'm going to try yoga? Or how did that happen?
I think I was looking for, where I live in Hampshire, I was looking for a local class. I just kept searching online. I couldn't find anything. And then somebody that I knew, her friend was teaching yoga. So she said to me, it's actually in Basingstoke. Here's her number, go along. She's really nice. You'll really enjoy it. So it was kind of a bit of a coincidence. Just kept looking around thinking, I can't find, what am I missing? I don't want to travel outside of where I live. So it just, again, I think almost synchronicity just happened when somebody said, oh my goodness, do you want to do yoga? My friend teaches it. And then it just started from there. And it was a love. As I say, it started with Bikram. And then she started to introduce a little bit more of a slower flow. And then I was thinking, I quite like this slow, a slow, steady pace of yoga. And it's just something that gave me discipline. It brought discipline into my life. It brought boundaries. And it just made me feel stronger as an individual, not necessarily physical strength, but just I felt like I knew myself more, or as the years went on, I felt that I knew I had more of an understanding of who I wanted to be and who I am. So yeah, that's kind of what it brought into my life, really.
That's amazing, and only benefits at the end of the day. And I always like to ask this question, how did yoga came? Because for me, I was searching a dance class. And don't ask me why I ended up in a yoga studio.
I think I was looking for something just a little bit slower, because I was very much about going to the gym, doing all of that kind of strength training, running, all of that kind of thing. And I just wanted something different. I didn't necessarily know it was yoga. if I'm honest. I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do, but as soon as I started doing it, I just thought, yeah, this is for me. So yeah, it wasn't in particular that I sort of thought it's going to be that, but that's kind of what I was looking for class wise, but not having any expectation of what it would be. So I know people tend to ask me, how did yoga come into your life and why? And it's kind of really difficult to answer, because it was just, I was looking for something, searching for something, and it just happened to be yoga that came into my life.
Yes. And that's, I think, also part of the practice. When you realize that you can let life guide you at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely.
And when did you decide that you wanted to become a teacher, and why?
Never was the question. I think most people, I think when it's funny, one lady that used to go to her classes, she said to me a few years ago, I think you would make a wonderful yoga teacher. And in my head, I thought, is this woman mad? Why would I want to? Why would I want to teach yoga? So it didn't dawn on me that I wanted to teach. It wasn't, and even when I signed up for the yoga teacher training, the reason I signed up for it was because I'd been on a retreat with a couple of the teachers. One of the ladies that I worked with, because I work full time, so one of the ladies that I worked with, the lady that was running the yoga teacher training is her best friend, so I knew her. And it just seemed that it was only a small group of us, only 6 of us that actually took the training. And I just thought one day, you know what, I'm going to do it. I've met everybody. I'll know somebody that's also going to do the training. No intentions of teaching. It hadn't really dawned on me because it's still working full time. So yeah, I just thought, oh, you know what, I know everybody, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to, and actually it was nice in a way they did it. They sort of broke it down so that you did sort of 20 days in one hit, and then you had maybe 3 or 4 months space to do your own thing and practice and sort of let everything sink in, and then you did the next section another 20 days or so afterwards. So in between that time, as with anything, thinking I don't want to teach, I'm just doing this to, just to further my understanding of yoga in general. People at work, there was I think a health wellness, and they said, oh, Karen, could you teach some classes? And I thought, no, what do you mean teach? So, and that's how it started at work. I started doing some teaching. And then after the training, they said, oh, we really enjoy this. You do it after work. We'd really like you to continue. So that's kind of how I started teaching as well, just once after work. And then because I was commuting in and out of London, it was really sort of once at work and maybe at the weekend for a local studio, and that was face to face, and that was pretty much it until obviously March last year. So yeah,
love it. Another sign that sometimes we want to have everything planned and life surprises you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I think I just thought, I'm going to just keep going, just keep teaching a couple of times a week, just getting, this was in 2019, I finally finished my yoga teacher training. So I just thought, I'll just keep going and just take one day at a time, and I'm sure in a couple of years, and there's no rush, there's no hurry, that kind of mentality, until a curveball gets thrown and your life takes a completely different direction. So yeah.
Yes. And the training you did was focused on accessibility, inclusion, or how was that?
No. Absolutely not. And in truth, I think it taught me how not to teach yoga. If I'm honest, the lady that actually ran the course taught me a lot about boundaries. She's absolutely wonderful and just a beautiful energy and beautiful soul. The person that was doing the physical aspect of it, that was just, where people would sort of come out of training and you'd think they'll repeat word for word what they heard in training and do everything that somebody did, and you just think, when are you going to take off those training wheels and be you? It was just a way that this is not how I'm going to teach class. And I think a lot of us were older, so I think we had a little bit more of a sense of what we would want to do from what we wouldn't want to do. And as I say, there was only 6 of us. So no to accessibility, absolutely not. But before I came out of training, I'd started playing around with props or support, because I just started taking a step back and thinking, why am I pushing myself in a way that's not sustainable and I don't enjoy it? Why am I doing these things that I no longer enjoy? I need to find a way that's going to suit me and suit how I live my life, so that if you met me off the mat, I'll be exactly the same. I'm not going to be a completely different person. So in a way, the yoga teacher training taught us how we did not want to teach a class. So you really had to find your own niche or your own way of doing something, which I struggled with initially, and then just decided, okay. And with work, they were brilliant. They bought the mats, and I said, you've got to buy some more props, you've got to buy some blocks, will you do that? And they said yes. I was like, oh good, I'm going to push this now. Will you buy some straps? They said yes, whatever you need to teach the class. So it was great in that respect that, they weren't adverse to buying the support that I wanted to incorporate in the class. So I'm grateful in a way for the training, because it kind of just made me curve away and carve out what I wanted to do. So absolutely no training, as your question, to accessibility, no, none at all. But I did yoga for all with Diana Bondi and Amber Carnes. I did their class. So that kind of also helped me realise that, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to think outside of my own body. Somebody actually said to me, oh, you cannot possibly teach. The only way that you can teach is through your own experience. So if your body if you're not in a bigger body, or you've got all your limbs, you can't possibly teach outside of that. And that struck me, and I thought, no, I can teach outside of that. No, I won't be for everybody, and I can't be for everybody, but you can't tell me I can't teach somebody who looks different than me. I just was like, that's not going to happen on my watch, not at all. So yeah,
love it. Yes. And it's reality in most of the trainings. Even the training I took, zero variations. Props, if you really need it, grab a block. If you really need it, but ask yourself, do you really need it? And it's like, why? And yes, I love what you mentioned about being able to teach a lot of different bodies, a lot of different people, different ages. Yes, if you take the time to think outside yourself and put in other people's shoes, you can do it.
Yes.
The thing is, at least for me, is to really not make that person feel bad. Because I see a lot of teachers that are now offering modifications, but the modification comes when the damage is done. When everybody is struggling and thinking, why did I sign up for this class? My body is the worst. And then they offer the lifeboat. So if you offer it before, it's better.
Absolutely. And I remember I went on a weekend retreat, and one of the ladies that was there has been going to yoga for a long time. And she said, no matter what class we do, you're always got your blocks with you. So I obviously used to attend a lot of classes, and I said, yeah, always got my blocks. I'm always using them. And she said, it's something again that struck me. She said, oh, we're told to use the block if we need it, but no one's ever shown us. No one's ever told us how. You tell me to get a block while you're in the pose. What is that? And I thought to myself, actually, no, we don't. We just, and I'm guilty of it. So everything that I've learned is through making mistakes. I didn't just wake up one day and decide that I haven't made any mistakes. I know I've made several, but I want to learn from those. And I would be the same. I'd be like, so just, let's grab a block, and then think, well, that's great, but this individual, she's just said to me, no one's telling me how. They're just telling and making an assumption that I know what to do with it. But if you search social media, it's very rare that you'll see anybody using any kind of support. So that was also something to think, well, take a step back and start to show individuals how to use support, and also make it normal, make it a normalization of support. Take away that if you need to. And by the time you said if you need to, normally in class, they're on the next posture. So you get left behind. So that's why even with the Mandela class that I used to attend, I thought, okay, I'm going to have 2 blocks at the front of the mat, and I've got 2 blocks at the back. And if not, the blocks are glued to my hands. So again, where some people are saying, oh, Mandela's quite fast and you're turning. I'm like, yeah, I am, but I'm using blocks. I'm showing people that it's still accessible and you can do it, and just leading by example.
That's key. Leading by example. Yes, yes. I also have an experience with what I like to call the block of shame. I was in a public class. I think we were 50 or even more, in triangle pose. So there were no blocks in that studio, no blocks. They had like 5 blocks at the front of the class. So the teacher came, grabbed 1 block. I was all the way on the back. She handed me the block of shame, but didn't tell me what to do. So I was left there with a block. Okay, so what do? I flip it in the air. I sit on the block. What do I do? So leading by example is key. If you're a teacher, maybe you don't need the block, but you make a statement. You normalize using blocks if you're using them, especially if you're teaching, because it's not your practice.
That's it. That's the thing. It's not your practice. When I stand in front of people, and I think I love teaching online because I'm not touching you, I'm not adjusting you. And I learned that from adjusting somebody. And in that moment that I adjusted that person, I stole something from her, and I felt it, and I saw her body change, her body language change. And I just thought, I will never do that again. I just will never touch somebody. I had consent. It wasn't as if I just went over, but she was in her own practice. And I decided that what she was doing didn't look right to my mind. And I stole something from her. And that, again, it's always something that sticks with me to say, don't do that. Don't steal something from somebody. You don't know her body. So that's why I now always tell people you're the best teacher in the room when it comes to your body. And it's not my practice. It's not my practice. It's your practice. So teaching online, not adjusting people, allowing, I just thought I don't want to steal something from anybody again. And that really, it stuck with me for quite a while, just to think, I can't believe I took something away from her in her practice. And I'm not prepared to do that again. I will watch what I'm doing. People don't need to be adjusted. I'm not doing anything, teaching anything that's inherently that I've got to keep you safe. You are an adult. You navigate the world. And then all of a sudden you step into my class and I'm teaching you how to be safe. You drove here without a seatbelt. I mean, yeah, You didn't check when you crossed the road. But all of a sudden now I'm decided that I'm going to have that power over an individual. And now it's like, no, keep your power. If you're trying to offload it onto me, guess what? I'm not taking it. I've taken it before. It was not helpful. It left me feeling awful. The ladies' practice suffered for that. And no, I'm not doing it again. I'm watching, being really careful about what I do and how I do it. And yeah, that's
same team. I don't touch. I don't make manual adjustment. Not even, no, even not in Shavasana. No, never. Because I hate that. Oh, no, no. I don't do it because it's, one, the body is smart. The body knows how to move themselves. And that's other topic. I see a lot of, I see a lot of teachers that go and adjust larger bodies in terms of alignment, focus on what they are watching on the outside, but the bones are already where they need to be. So you're causing, no.
I'm with you, Natalia. I'm exactly saying no. So
yes, no. And I see that in a lot of your content in social media, you include everyday items or chairs that have wheels. What can you share about that? How did you came with that, and why did you do it?
Because I'm working from home, so I still work full time. And obviously from March 2020, I've been working from home. So sat at a desk all day. And this is the difference. When you're sat in an office environment, you get up. You'll get up and go to the toilet. Obviously, you still do that, but you'll get up and have a drink. You'll get up and go and talk to somebody. So you are more, even though you're sat down, you're still having breaks. You're getting up, you're going outside for lunch, you're going to the shops, you're breaking the day up. What I'm finding is working from home, you're sitting down more and you're forgetting to, and I live alone as well. So it's not as if I've got any children or anybody coming in to distract me. So I'm finding that when I was standing up, I think, oh, and they're thinking, well, I've been sat down for 2 hours. I haven't moved. So one day I was just sat and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get some stretchy bands. And I was sat underneath my desk, stretching my legs with the bands sort of around my sort of calves and shins. And then that's when I thought, do you know what? Let's just move. Okay, let's take a break and let's move this wheelie chair and start using the bands. So that was a reel that I did, sort of moving my legs with the bands. And then after that, I was thinking, well, this is actually, there's not much pulling in yoga. So that's what I thought, well, it's got wheels on. So why don't I just push and pull and push and pull? And then, okay, put a weight on top. But I was thinking, when I was doing the pushing and pulling, I was thinking of somebody much, maybe who would be sitting on a chair and is maybe elderly and thinking, I'd really like to do something. And if you've got a chair that moves at home, not everybody has, but just something that moves that you can push back and forth. So that's how it came to me, was especially with the pushing and pulling, thinking, okay, yoga is not just fancy poses. It might be, let's incorporate some sort of mobility. And then how do you feel? So everything that I do, maybe you feel it's a bit of fun, maybe you feel that the shoulders are a little bit looser, or that you just feel good about yourself. And to me, that ultimately that's how I choose to view yoga, is that I feel good about myself. In that moment, everything has stopped, the life pressures, how I feel. And it doesn't matter if I was angry and I'm pushing that chair, trying to push it through the wall, it's going to work itself out. But if I'm still angry afterwards, I showed up for myself. I still turned up. I still pushed and pulled the chair. So yeah, that's kind of how I came up with it, was just sitting too much.
Love it. And now a question that I ask all the guests. Yoga for all bodies, it's all about using props, creating variations. So I want to know, What is your favorite prop and why?
My favorite prop is definitely the block.
Ooh.
Yes, because we very rarely talk about body proportions in yoga. We just say that no matter what, you will be able to do XYZ pose. We never take into account that my arms may be short, my body is long, my legs may be long. So for me, using a prop allows me to bring the ground closer. It allows my body space. All these things about stepping through and, you ultimately that's what you want to be able to do. No, I don't want to be able to do that. I can do it, but I choose not to. So for me, the block just brings the ground closer to me, makes me more aware of my body proportions, and gives me so much space, just so much space to move. And while I do the video sometimes with using the block, is also letting people know it doesn't have to stay on the same setting. It can be different, it can be flat, whatever shape your body is in, adjust the block to suit you. So yeah, that's why I love a block.
Amazing. So many tips in one answer. Love it, love it, love it. And finally, how can people find you? Promote yourself, give all the information.
Well, at the moment, I'm still building my website, so I'm nearly finished, and that will be exactly the same name as is on Instagram. So on Instagram, I'm Karen James Yoga. My website will be exactly the same, so at least it's not going to be too different from there. So I think the main place to find me is on Instagram. I am on Facebook as well, and again, exactly the same, Karen James Yoga. So yeah, those are the main places that you can find me. And then I will be launching, as I say, my website in the next month, and it'll be exactly the same.
Amazing. So if you're watching this video, trust me and thank me later. Karen James Yoga, Instagram, follow. And if you're watching this video, like it, share it, subscribe, because this is a message that everybody needs to know. Yoga is for all bodies. Thank you so much, Karen, for talking with me, for talking with the audience of the video podcast, for doing the work you're doing. A big hug.
Thank you. And it was wonderful of you to ask me and just to take this opportunity to, just share my love. I love what I do. I love that people come to yoga that, probably wouldn't have experienced it or thinking it's not for them. I'm so passionate about that. It really is for everybody.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. A big hug. See you soon.
Yes.
See you at your homes in a new episode. Bye.
Bye.